You know that thing where you get an amazing pair of shoes at a really great price and want to tell everyone about it? Yeah, so do we. Here at Designer Shoe Warehouse, we'll give you something to brag about, like the latest styles from brands you love, or the trends everyone's obsessing over, or shoes that make you feel like, well, you. So go ahead, show off a little. Find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. Head to your DSW store or dsw.com today. DSW, let us surprise you.
Hello and welcome to Ask Margaret from What Fresh Hell, laughing in the face of motherhood, answering your parenting dilemmas one question at a time. Today's question comes from our Facebook group, which you can find at facebook.com/groups/What Fresh Hellcast. And it says, I am at a loss. My 9-year-old finally made a new group of friends this year in school, and the other day while at recess, they announced that they don't want to be her friend anymore. She doesn't really talk to me about it, except for a few details. She is crushed, and while I know this is part of growing up, I don't know how to help her. She has a cold, and I let her stay home today, to be honest, partly so she doesn't have to endure a recess with this group of girls ignoring her or worse. I know missing school is not the answer. How can I help her? Oh, this question, I kind of hate it because we've mostly all been there. As Amy and I admit, we've been on all sides of this. We have been the kid who was ostracized. We have been the kid who was doing the ostracizing. And we've also been the parent of the ostracized kid. They're all hard roles in their own way. But I think the biggest thing to do is to remember the advice that you are not on the roller coaster with your kid. It can go right to our soft underbelly of feeling like, oh, this hurts so deeply to see your child rejected. And so it can be very tempting to jump in and want to, stomp onto the recess playground and call the school and call all the moms and how can you do this and this is wrong and my kid is the greatest and people don't like her and that's because they're terrible people. Take a breath, because I think those are generally the wrong way. Now, there's no explanation in this question about what happened. I have seen this play out for reasons that are completely arbitrary, which is we're just going to pick on one kid to leave out. I have seen this happen for reasons of dynamics between friendships. And I have seen this happen because the ostracized kid is engaging in some difficult behaviors. And so we don't exactly know why it's happening. You can talk to your child about it when she is ready. These changing dynamics are just kind of an absolute part of growing up. I'm going to point you to an article from verywellfamily.com that has lots of tips about this. The number one thing from Andy Brimhall, PhD, and a licensed marriage and family therapist, who says, avoid saying anything that could be interpreted as meaning that they should be different or should try harder to be liked. Instead, focus on listening and empathizing with how they are feeling. I think this is absolutely the right approach. That sounds really hard. I remember when something like that happened to me and how difficult it was, and really just talking about the feelings and not getting too deep into, well, this happened. You talk too much. You're always talking too much. Maybe you should talk less. It's not justifiable behavior when a group of kids drops you randomly. And so don't get in there and try to justify it. Another tip is to empower your kid. And so you can't control what other people do. You can only control how you respond. And so I think the right way to go about this is focus on other friends at recess. Focus in activity. Bring your drawing pad for a couple of days. Give them some tools and tactics about things that may work. Is your child going to say to you, what wonderful advice, Mom, thanks so much? No, they're going to say, that's dumb, that won't work. But it's really the only thing you can do is control your behavior. Here's a book to bring. Here's a tablet to draw on. Find a game that's going on and join it. Find something else to do at recess, then give these kids what they want. Your oversized reaction to their rejecting of you. Another tip, which I really like, trust and listen to your child. Dr. Brimhall says, aim to be there for backup should you need it. If they need support, a listening ear, empathy. Let them know that you have their back, but you believe in their ability to handle this situation. I definitely remember being ostracized and bullied as a middle school girl. But I definitely remember my parents kind of taking a very calm approach to it and being kind of, I would say, mildly dismissive, but not super interested in what was going on with the other girls. And like, oh yeah, girls, they're like that. That's difficult. But we're here as a safe space that is outside of school. We are not running into this fire with gasoline and matches. I think that's very important. Now, that being said, I think the final step is very important. Step in when needed. Here's what this looks like. Same article. The doctor here is Dr. Cohen. Evaluate the severity of the bullying, how well equipped your child is to deal with it, and what adults may be able to help. Behaviors such as refusal to go to school, leave their room, loss of appetite, sudden change in appearance, becoming non-communicative, loss of interest in extracurricular activities or family time or hobbies, or a rapid drop-off in grades can be warning signs that a child is facing difficulties beyond their ability to navigate on their own. You know your child best, and this is what you have to evaluate. Is this a bump in a road, or is this falling off of a cliff? I would imagine that most times this is a hard bump in the road, but do beware of those warning signs if we're into a more difficult situation that may need a more serious intervention. And the biggest thing you can do, diversify your friendships. So I think having kids involved in scouts or dance or sports, or just friendships with neighboring kids or relationships with cousins and siblings, helping kids to have a wide range of friends, because this will inevitably happen in one of their circles, that someone's going to decide it's your kid's turn to be on the outs. And it can be really helpful for them to have other outlets for friendships. And that's something that you can help direct a little bit and also point to. Yes, this is a bummer that recess is so bad, but luckily right after school, you go to dance and your friends there are great to see. And that kind of plays against what's going on at recess. There's so much to talk about on this subject. I will also point you to a couple of episodes that we've done on the subject of bullying and social emotional learning and strength, because it's certainly more than we can cover in just an Ask episode. But I hope that little bit of advice helps, and I hope your kiddo finds her way. I'm sure she will, but it stinks when it happens. Thanks so much for listening. If you have a question for myself or Amy, you can ask them on our Facebook page, or you could go to our website, whatfreshhellpodcast.com, hit the little mic and record your question for us, and you may hear yourself on an upcoming episode. Thanks so much for listening.